Oh, mother meatball.
Who's going to be first?
He's got a new video out today, Kyle, and it's disappointing because he doesn't do any analysis.
Oh, that's a shame.
He just reads the list. I'm like, in its top 5 best summer activities.
Joe, I have a confession to make. My number one summer activity is shopping on eBay for vintage NFL apparel.
That's
I think that's your number one activity year round, it appears.
That's a good point.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of good stuff on there right now. Couldn't bring myself to buy that jacket over the weekend, though.
Why?
I still think about it. It was a $200 jacket. I'm not spending $200.
But I thought we found it for cheaper elsewhere.
Yeah, it was sold out.
Oh. Okay.
Hello, Dion Dunn.
Oh, Dion Dunn, first in.
Oh,
Ugga
Dion.
fan.
What's up, man?
UGA, loaded with talent.
Who's Joe? Who is Georgia's best prospect this year? In your mind.
Pickens?
And why is it George Pickens?
Because
that's my answer.
I mean, I'm not like super dialed in on Georgia because he's in Dre's region, but
correct.
Feels like it would be Pickens.
You'd have a hard time going wrong with George Pickens being your answer.
Yeah, from a talent perspective.
Hi, Vontel. What have we triggered you about this week?
Vontel was very pleased with my Kyle Shanahan take from last week.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
Thoughts on George Karlaftis? Obviously, he didn't play very much in 2020, but his 2019 resume as a true freshman is excellent. He moves really well for a guy in the 270s, and I think if he replicates his performance of his freshman season, you're looking at probably a top 40 pick. He had 17 tackles for loss his freshman season at Purdue, and really powerful hands. I love his hand usage is probably my favorite trait of his. But it's obviously hard to get super excited about a guy who's I don't perceive to be a special athlete who only has 1 year of production, and it was not this past year. Although Gregory Rousseau ended up getting drafted at 30 with effectively that same exact profile. So who knows?
Dion Dunn coming in hot with Jordan Davis.
And I like Jordan. I just don't know what the ceiling is.
Dre Harris right now agrees with you, Dion.
Yep. And he's got Jordan, second round?
He's got Jordan higher than George.
Yep. Well, Pickens also has the knee. So I know that wasn't necessarily something that Dre took a great deal into account when he made his decision, but that is something that needs to be accounted for.
Brian Burns better than Chase Young.
Man, I am as big of a Brian Burns fan as you will ever lay eyes on, and
guys,
I'm not sure I agree with this.
What are you guys doing? The show's called Takes on Takes. We're not even in the show. We're in the pre-show, and you're answering takes.
We want to talk some football. Leave us alone.
And there's nothing else going on in football that you could talk about other than the comments of people loading in their takes. I just don't understand. You're giving away the content.
We're not, though. We're providing a early pipeline of content.
We're rewarding people for showing up early.
That's right. We are. If you are here in the pre-show and you are engaging with us before the start of the show, you deserve to be rewarded, and that is what we're doing our best to put forward. And we are not going to let Chris shame us for doing so. I refuse.
Shall we?
This is a bad take, Kyle. This is just a bad take.
What's the
pre-show?
take?
The pre-show is not an extension of the content. The pre-show is before the content.
Hey, Rahul. Give us your hottest take, Rahul.
All right, here we go.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes here on the Draft Dudes live stream presented by Mighty Swell. Kyle, it's a watermelon mint night. Boom.
Wish we could have seen that pop open. I don't know about you, Chris. I can't see him. I can hear him.
You can't see
me.
He's frozen on my screen right now.
This is another one of those. Kyle has issues at the beginning of a stream.
I'm not having any issues. I'm not
Joe
complaining
looks-
about not seeing his face. I just
Joe-
wish I could have seen the pop open on the swell. That's all.
I mean, hold on. I'll go full screen for you here for a little bit. Joe can just.
I'm gonna take a picture here.
Yeah, please take the picture.
You can't open it twice.
That's okay.
I mean, if the chat tells me that there's something wrong with Joe, that they can't see Joe, then we'll have a bigger problem. But at the moment, you guys everybody looks fine to me.
Well, apparently not. Dickie G doesn't like my look and vibe
I will
tonight.
say, so we recorded the Tuesday edition of the show before the stream, as we always do, and I was a little late setting everything up, so I came back and you guys were already in here. So I put on both of your on your cameras, and the color coordination, the full TDN gear. I was just taken aback by it. I think it looks good. I was just taken aback by it at first.
Should be. He's had it on since at least 1:30.
Oh, because did you see him earlier today for a meeting?
We had our scouting.
Yeah,
meeting.
we had our staff
that.
meeting, and I wore this to the staff meeting.
Mhm.
Made a sleeveless shirt. You don't just throw the sleeves out. It's wasteful.
Nothing wrong with Joe other than his say less moments.
And his vocabulary. And his pop culture experience.
So speaking of vocabulary, didn't we get a new vocabulary word from Joe on today's edition of the show?
No, and I think it's a word. I think it is a word. Correlatively.
See, okay.
Correlatively. So it's so bad that he's now come up with two versions of it to try and cover his own butt.
Okay, first of all, I think it was just 3. Second of all, I think those 3 pronunciations are different than the way it was pronunciated on the pod on Monday.
That's also true.
Joe, you might be right that one of those is a word. I just don't think the version that you used on today's pod is the word. But okay, nonetheless. We got a lot to get into.
If I can climb out of this hole that I seem to be in here to start the podcast after a wonderful introduction, thanks to our friends at Mighty Swell.
Amen to that.
Cajun Flame says, take in 3 years, every AFC East head coach will be considered a top 10 NFL head coach.
3 years.
Is Bill still here in 3 years?
I think that's the assumption that this take is making.
But I'm asking that. Joe taking the field on how.
That's such a great comment. That's a good comment, Philip.
He's taking the
Nicely
field.
done. Nicely done.
That's how you know you have a true, long-time listener. When Joe betting the college spread, anything of X or the field, Joe always takes the field. I'm passing on this bet because I think Bill's out, and
Josh McDaniels isn't a top 10 head coach in the National Football League.
Sure. Let's go with that, Chris. Let's go with that.
Okay, got another one here for you. So you, I believe, requested a spicy take from Rahul.
Rahul, yes.
Well, here you go.
That's my boy.
Michael Pittman will have more receiving touchdowns this season than A.J. Brown and Julio Jones combined. You want it? No. So you can't do that. You ask for a spicy take, you get a spicy take.
Since we're doing things that longtime listeners would recognize, I'm not only out on this take, I am all the way out on this take. I'm as out can get.
If Joe was in possession of the poop pad, he would use it here.
It's downstairs. I think my get up tonight is already wild enough. I'm not going to go fish out the poop pad.
Wait a minute, you didn't bring it with you?
Hell
we
no.
haven't seen it in weeks.
Why would I not? Or why would I bring it and give it back to him?
Return it to its.
Oh yeah, it's a good point.
Return it to its rightful owner.
It's mine now.
That's great.
You can come take it if you want it. How's that?
It doesn't get used anymore. You know,
it will when the time is right.
It got used that first night, and it's never been used since.
Well, I abused. I was told
everything was amazing.
I was told I abused it the first night, so I want to give it a little bit of. But yeah, no, I'm all the way out on Michael Pittman outscoring Julio and AJ Brown combined.
Okay,
that's
so
no sir.
I'm gonna set this up here very well.
Oh, Montel's got a good one.
This is a comment in the chat from Matt. Yes,
okay.
Andrew. Meaning he's throwing his support behind Andrew's take. Okay?
Okay. I'm a little nervous now.
This is Andrew's take.
Oh, wow. That would be unprecedented for something like that to happen.
Yeah, man.
What don't we know?
They made him the number or the highest drafted tight end in the history of the NFL. He's getting top 5 money, and he's in an offense that has a play caller in Arthur Smith who uses tight ends a ton. So I also don't get that vibe, and I didn't get that vibe from Minka either. So you just never know. But that would be a big time stunner for me.
Yeah, I'd be shocked.
Fontel, take Dexter's Laboratory, Ed, Nettie, and Rocket Power are the top 3 cartoons of all time.
This is not my era of cartoons, So
I think I could replace all 3 of these.
I know
you can't take Ed and Eddie off.
Well, if you haven't seen it because it's not from your era, and you think there are 3 better, then
Chris, I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming Chris. If Chris says that he can take it off, which means he's. So what else you got?
So Rocco's Modern Life absolutely 1000% needs to be put onto this.
Put that on over Rocket Power, and I'm still with you.
I would take Dexter's Laboratory off for Rocco's Modern Life. If I was power ranking what I would take off this list. You could convince me to keep Rocket Power. I think Rugrats got to be on there.
Yeah, are we doing just like kids cartoons from when you were 10, or are there other?
I think
I see some love in the comments,
and this is a great
Rick and
point.
Morty. For Rick and Morty,
a great point. Hey Arnold has to be in this, and I think if you're going adult cartoons, listen, South Park goes on that list ahead of those 3. Family Guy goes. Do
we consider Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to being a cartoon?
We consider it a cartoon. We consider it a bad cartoon for this list. That's what we consider. Angry Beaver. See, that's a good one.
Yeah, Angry Beaver's low key.
Ren
really
and
good.
Stimpy. I see you, Arzel. I got you.
Happy, joy, man. I could sing that. I could sing that song off the top of my head right now,
dude. One of the accomplishments of my childhood was saving up enough box tops to mail them in and get a Ren and Stimpy magnetic dartboard back.
That's phenomenal.
Hey, it takes a lot to not lose them when you're like 7, 8 years old.
That's
and
you got to be focused for that.
You know, talking about you got to cut out those things at the top.
Yeah, clear eyes, full hearts can't lose.
Yeah. Charles, this is a good one. Archer is a very underrated, but that's again, we're leaving the cartoon space at this point. That's just an animated show at that point.
Chris, make sure you put KL play his thing up here.
Yo, Tanner with the good call there. Flintstones.
This one? Because I think this is a bad take.
No, I was talking about he was the one that was very upset with us for Tennessee Titans.
Hold on.
From a few weeks ago.
Did you listen to the Monday pod?
Because
this take makes me think you didn't.
Yeah, fair.
So
didn't we already had him above 500, didn't we? 9 and 8?
We changed it. Remember, we originally had him at 8 and 9, and then we revisited and we changed it. And that was before they traded for Julio, and we're going to revisit again on Thursday.
Listened to the friggin' live streams and made the necessary adjustments.
We need to make some changes here. So that was always the thing. It was never set in stone until we finalize who wins the Super Bowl, and then the order is set. So I did not watch.
No, Aiden, I want you to take your monitor or your laptop, and I want you to just pull it nice and close.
Don't go listen now, players. Stay for the live stream, man.
I want you to just get it really, just close it in. Avatar is extremely overrated.
Okay, let's move on before you upset anybody else on the show.
Would you rathers are allowed here on the show as well. If you were a general manager, would you rather build around Matt Ryan or Ryan Tannehill at quarterback?
Why isn't this obviously Ryan Tannehill? Why, what's the case for Matt Ryan here? I mean, production, he's consistency, but he's older. I think he's somewhat in physical decline. He doesn't move.
He's not as athletic as Tannehill, and I get Tannehill's feel for the pocket at times is not always the best. But if you're doing rollouts and getting him out on the move and all that kind of stuff, I think you can do a lot more of that with Tannehill than you can with Matt Ryan. Joe's still frozen for me, by the way, Chris.
Nope, not frozen.
No, not frozen at all. And the chat has confirmed that he is not frozen.
Yeah, I know. I'm just telling. For me, it's very distracting to have a conversation with
somebody who doesn't.
A blur blob of a picture.
Okay, do you want me to do one of these? I'll take him away from the show, and then it can be you and I, and then I'll bring Joe back.
Joe, move. He's fixed.
See, there it is. Perfect.
Dead ass. He's
perfect.
Fixed.
Okay, this take from Kyle. Would you rather have your AC break during a Florida summer or have your heater break during a New York winter? P.S. My AC is broken in Florida. I don't think this is a debate.
First of all, we're sending our T's and P's to Kyle in Florida.
That's
wow.
It's
Yeah.
That's really important for us to establish off the jump. You would rather have your heater break in the winter.
Mhm. Yep.
Chris
You
is
can put
not
more
agreeing.
on.
Right. You can always put more clothes on to stay warmer. You can only take so much off before you're stock out. Your shelves are empty, and then you're still going to be hot, and you could do nothing to cool yourself down.
We went my first summer in North Carolina. No, listen. In my first summer in North Carolina, my parents got us a house that didn't have air conditioning. All right. And that's not even Florida. And that summer was miserable. I remember, do you remember the gallons of ice cream that you would purchase that's like a bucket? I remember every night just taking a washcloth and filling that thing up with ice, putting it next to my bed and just continuously putting that washcloth in the cold water as it melted and putting it on my forehead just to have a chance to fall asleep.
I am baffled by this.
Chris, let me ask you a question.
Sure, please.
First of all, you live out in Arizona.
I do, but I've lived in New York. It's where I grew up, born and raised.
That's fine. That's fine. How long have you lived out in Arizona?
It will be 9 years in December.
Okay, so it's been almost a decade.
Yep.
Of living out in Arizona, the dry heat out there. Dry heat's a little different. When's the last time you were in South Florida?
The last time I was in South Florida, probably 3 years ago.
Okay. Was it humid?
Yes.
Was it much more humid than what you have in Arizona?
Absolutely.
Would you agree that could perhaps skew your perception on living with heat if you're living in dry heat versus, because I mean, the last time I was out in Vegas, it was like 110 and it felt like 88.
No,
it's just,
yeah, I don't have, like, right now I'm in the studio here that I do the show from, and I have a tower fan with the door closed, so the AC doesn't get in here, and the AC is on in the house right now, but I have just a fan. If a snowstorm comes in and I don't have the heater, it doesn't matter how many articles of clothing I put on, I'm doomed.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been camping?
No, I couldn't survive out in the wilderness.
Never. You've never been like ever in your life.
We're going camping sometime. Just prepare
draft dudes go camping.
Draft dudes camping.
Go camping. Out here in Kyle, we have nothing to lose. We'll be fine.
Okay, we have. There are a lot of takes that came in.
Great.
Julio's like, I want nothing to do with.
Like, no, I'm bouncing out of camp.
Sam, no, it does not. It does not qualify.
Ass is not in the swear jar.
Well, ass is, but I said dead ass.
Yeah, we'll allow it, and I think we can take a little bit more creative liberties here on the live stream. I think the live stream, we can, there are certain words that no matter what you say on the live stream, you're going to get fined, but I think most of them you're going to be okay. Listen, Braden, I don't know why you have to come in here with this kind of take, but I'll give it to the guys anyway. Zach Wilson will set a new record for interceptions thrown by a rookie quarterback.
What is the record?
Your producer's
28.
working on it. Hold on.
Peyton Manning, 28.
I don't think Zach Wilson's. 17 games. I think he can throw one. If he throws 1.5 a game, that's
in 1998.
Peyton Manning. I'll take the field, right? It's like it's Manning season versus everybody else. You'll take the field, but in honor of me, in my Zach Wilson vibe tonight with the headband and everything, I'll give him an outside chance, Chris, if that's gonna make you feel good.
I mean, It's just
we have a bet opportunity here, and it doesn't have to come together. But somebody put an over under where you will take all bets, and you can choose to participate or not.
So,
for interceptions thrown by Zach Wilson,
18.5.
You know what? I'm out because I don't want to sit there and root for Zach Wilson to throw interceptions. That's not healthy.
But that was a good line, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe, by the way, for not.
Yeah, I didn't want that. I didn't want that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. This one from Andrew. This is a good bounce back from Andrew. Take Penny Sewell will be the next Joe Thomas. Great talent wasted due to the franchise.
Surely there's another version of that before Joe, right? Or after Joe, right?
Just a guy that was the stalwart at left tackle, but then the team never had any success.
Well, hold on. Can I jump in here? Nowadays, and Joe Thomas isn't that long ago, but nowadays, great talent doesn't stick around long enough for a guy to become Joe Thomas. Like Joe Thomas stuck it out in Cleveland and was there through a lot. Like if things don't go well, guys change teams quick enough. So it's like I can't think of another example of a Joe Thomas after Joe Thomas. Now maybe the chat will help us here, but I can't think of.
Feel free to put what Sam put on. Yeah.
Let's
put it
up. Let's talk about it because I don't know what this is either. So I'm a little intrigued here.
I didn't say anything about Zach Wilson. Come on, are you kidding me right now? This is unreal, Shub. I didn't say anything about Zach Wilson on that podcast that I haven't said to Shuby or Kyle before. It was about how I like the player, I like the skill set. I hate that he's going to the New York Jets for a number of reasons. First of all, because it is quite the transition from BYU to the New York Jets, but also because I don't think the Jets are in position.
Douglas.
I do love Joe Douglas.
Don't forget about Joe Douglas.
No, you didn't like that he traded for Elijah Vera Tucker though. So
we're talking. This is about Zach Wilson. I don't like
Joe's
that he's
just an avid Jets hater. That's all.
That's not true. I don't hate any team in the NFL anymore. Now that when Rex Ryan was the coach to the Jets, that's legitimately the only team I've ever can say I hated was Rex Ryan's New York Jets. The Jets are not in position right now where they can miss on another quarterback, right? Like they haven't gotten this right in a long time. And so the weight of that combined with Zach coming from a very affluent background, I don't know, man. Like you saw this guy kind of turtle up against Coastal Carolina. You saw some of what happened in 2018 and 2019. From a mental makeup perspective, I don't love him with the New York Jets. I just don't.
The Coastal Carolina thing just still bothers me, but we won't do this.
Listen, so
it's not a good game. Lost me money that night.
So me too. So people are saying Trent Williams, but again, guys, he left. Like Joe Thomas is the example here because he didn't leave.
Yeah, that's a hard arc to find. Like just sitting here, I've been thinking about it. Is it Anthony Munoz? He had some success in Cincinnati, right?
They played in a Super Bowl.
Yeah, so he doesn't count.
I like Vontel's here, Chris.
This one. What's more of a hot but reasonable take? Waller jumping into the Kelsey Kittle tier, or Quinnen Williams jumping into the Cox Chris Jones tier?
I think the hotter.
Quinnen.
I was gonna say I feel like Waller is the hotter take, but I think the Quinnen one is fairly reasonable to see materializing.
So I looked at this and I asked myself, which player is closer to that tier now? And I think Waller is closer to the Kelsey Kittle tier.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much of a hot take that is, because if you told me I could have Darren Waller, I would like, he's right there. He might even be in that tier. He's been really good the last 2 seasons. Where Quinnen needs to produce again.
I've got the answer for the Joe Thomas thing.
Yeah.
It's Jeff Backus. It already happened with the Detroit Lions. I've already been down this road.
Jeff Backus, you're putting him in the same bucket as Joe Thomas?
Penei Sewell, we're putting it. I mean, at least I'm talking about a guy that started literally every game for the Detroit Lions at left tackle from 2001 to 2012.
But that's before Joe Thomas. The thing we were trying to find was if there is somebody after Joe Thomas that fits that bucket.
Oh. I think Rahul's got a good one with Calvin Johnson.
I thought it had to be an offensive lineman. So just insert any Detroit Lions player ever, and we.
No, it's not about the Lions.
It's about finding me.
I thought it was about a stalwart at left tackle that never had any success.
No, it was about Joe Thomas was an extremely exceptional player for all those years in Cleveland, yet never found success in Cleveland. So another example of a player who's been in a place his entire career that hasn't found that team success. And
how is Jeff Backus an answer that causes us to flip over on a chair? How?
It was you thinking.
Kyle, he's going to do the rest of the show by himself. He has to do the last 9 minutes by himself because he hasn't been paying attention.
It has nothing to do with Detroit.
Somebody said
I understand it's not anything to do with Detroit, but from an arc, this guy was a starting left tackle. He was an above-average player.
Joe, but the take was read out loud, and Kyle said, we can't find anybody more recent than Joe Thomas, so you're giving me a player before Joe Thomas.
And I don't know why.
The take it could not go before Joe Thomas.
No, it could, but you're not answering the question that people threw Matt Stafford's name out there. Like we were trying to go recent with a player who.
Why are we talking about just the Detroit Lions?
So why didn't you shut me down when I mentioned Anthony Munoz? Because that's like way before this.
Did we not?
I have no conflict with the time frame. It's more about just Detroit. It doesn't. Anthony Munoz didn't play for Detroit, so now how did we come back to the answer only being Jeff back here?
No, Sam, this isn't right either.
Okay, obviously the teacher has failed the students because multiple people don't understand what the hell's going on.
This is an answer. See, we got there.
And I would say
an answer.
And I would say
he
I would
played in a
because
Super Bowl.
Larry played in a Super Bowl.
Somebody put Walter Jones in there. He's a Super Bowl champion at left tackle.
So it should probably be a perennially bad team that had a career lifer. I saw somebody say Luke Kuechly. Luke Kuechly doesn't count. He played in the Super Bowl, right? Luke Kuechly. That Carolina went 15-1 one season that Luke Kuechly was on the team.
How is Jeff Backus a bad answer?
You could convince me of this one.
Calvin Johnson is the answer.
Yes.
Calvin Johnson's the answer. Oh, don't say Derek Carr. I'm going to pretend I didn't see that.
Oh, Andre Johnson's a good one. That's a good one. But he played for multiple teams after, right? Like you went to Tennessee.
Right.
Right. So he didn't stay on the same team.
I also think we went before Joe Thomas, which again was not the initial intent of the.
All right, we got to move on. This is terrible.
Andrew says it's time for a camping trip.
Right, let's go. Right, you guys doing it in August?
No, okay, I have to.
No,
on two different teams.
Move away.
I'll
from
find
this
another
take.
I was trying to find another take, and
take.
somebody threw in Khalil Mack. That's this one from Cajun Flame. Take one of last year's division winners will have the wheels completely fall off the bus and pick inside the top 10.
Yeah, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, top 10? We have Pittsburgh around 500 right now.
Okay, who? Not Washington. Green Bay. Could be Green Bay. Could be Green Bay if they don't have their quarterback.
If they don't have Aaron Rodgers, that's a very reasonable one.
The Saints won the division, didn't they?
Thank you.
Yes.
4 Saints.
Yeah. That is a reasonable one.
We've lost all control of the chat now. Just so you know, the chat has just gone off the rails.
I would say those are your two most likely. Saints and who did we say the other one was?
I mean, the Titans.
No, not after Julio.
If the defense
No, dude, the Colts won that division, didn't they?
No, the Titans did. They both finished 11-5.
Okay.
Remember the Colts played in. The Colts literally gave the Bills their first playoff win in like 2 decades.
Yep.
Yep.
Remember it like it was a couple months ago.
Yep.
Then they got their second one the following week to the Ravens. You know, it's like on a heater.
Jimmy G will not be a 49er by the end of the trade deadline this season.
I think the funner question there is what team gets him? What team pulls the trigger on that trade?
I don't even know what this is in reference to.
The Saints. I think he. Oh no, he's a Titans guy, right?
Oh yeah. It's me saying the Titans
for Jimmy G. Why wouldn't that be a thing?
Does somebody like if somebody gets hurt in preseason?
He's talking about the previous take.
We're talking about
He's talking about first or worst. We're not talking about.
I'm talking about Jimmy G. What are we doing here?
We're just not on the same page whatsoever.
Dad's on dad brain.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Josh Larson is a hot one.
Yeah, it's very spicy.
No, that's there we go. Mike Williams will have more yards than Keenan Allen.
I'm selling this take, but it is a hot take.
I would sell on this as well.
I mean, what's the path to get there? Keenan's got to get banged up. Mike's finally got to stay healthy for a full season and just bombs away down the field, right?
Yeah, I just feel like Keenan just commands more targets, right? So I don't think that'll be close if everyone's healthy.
Assuming everyone's healthy.
Yeah.
Let's plan on this when the Dolphins win their next playoff game.
Is that what you're promising us? It's going to be cold.
That's a really long payoff, but okay, I'll take it.
Wow.
What, are you going to show up on Thursday and get my computer all wet? No.
You don't have. You could step away from it. It's not an audio thing. It's a visual thing.
No, not if I'm going to do it with
Kyle's
authenticity.
Yeah,
I'm going to sit right here and I'll.
Shuby, Kyle's done some things for Dolphins losses that were well produced. I mean, this guy wins a playoff game. It might
Bets
not
are
be
off.
just. Yeah, dude. Like,
bets are off.
Can I ban him? Can he be banned?
No, he can't.
Dude, you threw that slander, so you kind of invited that.
What did I do?
He said it's a long payoff.
Right.
No, I just meant I meant we're gonna have to wait till next January. That was what I meant.
Yeah, I'm sure that's
not what
exactly
anybody
what you
thought.
meant.
Oh,
Right. That's
I'm sure
not what I was
exactly
thinking.
what you meant.
Fine. Since we're here, I'll just throw this up. There you go.
Not going to, so quit asking. All right.
Hey.
Congrats to Nick on a contract extension. Got a 3-year extension through 2029. We need one more hot take.
You need one more.
One more hot take to close the show.
Okay, hold on. I'll find a take. Joe, agree, disagree?
No, he's going to hard disagree on this because he hates the concept.
Yeah.
He's a new vocabulary for Joe. Joe's a curmudgeon about jumping through tables.
Big time.
Let me find something here.
One hot take to close the show.
Julio Jones finishes 2021 with fewer than 1,000 receiving yards despite playing at least 15 games.
How do we get here?
Like Corey Davis had almost 1,000 yards last year in what we would assume is a lesser role, right?
You would assume, yeah. And I guess you think about what Tennessee is probably going to continue to look like, and it's a lot of play action pass and throw it up down the field. And I just think the yards per catch, even if he doesn't catch as many passes, the yards per catch, I think, is going to really allow him to roll up yards. If he plays 15 games, I'd be willing to bet he gets 1,000 yards.
Is that really true? He didn't have a catch in the final 3 games, Corey Davis? This guy's sitting there teetering on a 1,000-yard season and didn't catch a pass in the last 3 games.
Chris, can you confirm that for us while I thank everybody for checking in the live stream? And then,
real.
Well, we don't know if it's real just yet. I would assume Kale Play is a Titans fan, so he would know. I'm not saying you're lying to us, but we just we got yelled at on the live stream for getting somebody's height and weight wrong a couple weeks ago. So we want to make sure anything that we're saying on here is factually confirmed. So we have that authenticity. Chris, I tried to buy you a little time here. What do you got for me?
It's going to be a no. I'm looking at his last 3 games.
Did not catch a single pass?
No, he caught 9 passes over the last 3 games.
Wow.
But for how many yards?
150.
Oh.
What happened here?
Reasonable.
I'm just trying to make sure the dates are right, but this says 2020. Week 15, they played Detroit. He had 4 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown. Week 16 against the Packers, they lost 40-14. He had 2 targets, but he didn't catch anything.
Okay, that's bad.
And then in the final game of the season, he had 5 catches for 39 yards.
Okay, so he had over the last 2 games, he had 5 catches for 39 yards and averaged less than 8 yards per catch. It's a reasonable thing to say, even if it wasn't completely statistically.
The take was he didn't have a catch in his final 3 games. He had 9.
He said he forgot the Texans game.
So
which is the one I'm assuming
did he forget the other 4? Because the Texan game is the last game of the season.
Chris, we're done here. We're done. I'm not going to have you slander our listeners live on the show. I appreciate everybody's contributions, everybody's views. Oh, Packers and playoff game. He didn't have any in the playoff game either.
So Texans Packers playoff game, he didn't catch a pass. Is that what we're getting at here? Is that week?
He caught
No.
5 passes in the Texans game. I'm just very confused.
He said so week 16 he didn't catch anything. He forgot the week 17 game, and then he in the playoffs did not catch any passes.
That is true. He did not catch. You know what?
I'm just confirming that 2 out of 3.
We're gonna go camping.
We're going camping. We're done here. Kyle Krabs, showrunner Chris Schubert. Thanks as always for tuning into live stream. Hopefully we're more at peace as a collective group on on Thursday for our next show. We got a great show lined up for you tomorrow. Make sure you check it out. Thanks as always for watching live stream.